morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Glen Ivy, California. Well, today's verse is Matthew 5:17 and 18. It says, "Do not think that I came to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish but to fulfill. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or stroke shall pass from the law until all is accomplished." Well, this Sermon on the Mount sure is interesting. We started with the Beatitudes, blessed is this person and that person, and I suggested that all of that was blessed are the people who are walking in the path of God's love. And then we have you are the light of the world and the salt of the earth, and that's those people who are loving, they're leading the way, and they're special. And now we got this thing about the law. So have we left love? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. No. So, let's see what the fulfillment of the law is. First of all, let's find out the purpose of the law. I've got a wonderful reference here, Romans 3:20. It says, because by the works of the law, no flesh will be justified in his sight. For through the law comes the knowledge of sin. And you drop down to 23 and it says, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So the law has several purposes. Number one, to show his glory and his righteousness. Okay, that's God's standard. He's way up there. Number two, to show that we are all sinners. We fall short. Number three, to show that we can't possibly fulfill the law by our own human efforts. Impossible. But there is a number four, and I'm going to get to that. It's to show Jesus' heart. And the law actually does this. But back to our main text. So it says, don't think that I came to abolish the law. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill. So what is the fulfillment of the law? Well, let's have a look at a different one. Matthew 22:36, a familiar verse for many. It says, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And he said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." Give him everything. "This is the greatest and foremost commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." On these two commandments depend the whole law and the prophets. Everything is hinged on love. All right? And then to further expand that, I've got one last one here. Romans 13:8. It says, owe nothing to anyone except to love one another. For he who loves his neighbor has fulfilled the law. For this, and he quotes some laws from the Ten Commandments. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not murder. You shall not steal. You shall not covet. And if there is any other commandment, it is summed up in this saying, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And verse 10, love does no wrong to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Okay, so it all does come back to love and even showing Jesus' heart. And so let's look at this again. Verse 18 says, the law is not going away, basically. The law is here to stay. So why is it there to stay? Well, because it shows Jesus' heart. And it's not that we want to ditch the law, but we need to understand the heart behind the law. And then as we continue in Matthew, it's going to expound on that. He's going to hit the idea of murder. Well, it's not just murder, it's anger. And he's going to hit adultery. He's going to hit divorce and certain other topics. In other parts of the Bible, he has this debate about the Sabbath. And the Pharisees were all about keeping every little piece of the law and thought that they were going to get to heaven that way. But we find out that seeing Jesus' heart, it's not a specific day and it's not a specific activity or lack of activity or whatever. That's the Sabbath. It's setting aside time to love him. That's the heart behind the law. And when we have our hearts set on him, then we start getting attuned to what is the heart behind the law. Not just the letter of the law, but the heart of the law. Because if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a good week.